Hello from the old abandoned village of Farsa here in Kefalonia, not far from the capital Argostoli. This village was destroyed by the earthquake in 1953 and the residents all moved down to the village further down there. So this entire village is abandoned, all the buildings are old and ruined, and I'm taking a walk around and taking some pictures. I think I found the main street here, and these old walls are incredible. They are just the earthquake didn't tumble those, just made of enormous rocks. Of course, not completely abandoned. Got a couple of residents over here. A little camera shy. Hello! So these are some of the old buildings, and just down there with the red roofs you can see the new city, or the new town of Farsa. So we're just going to keep walking and looking around. Oh. Yeah, it's a really traditional old village. You can tell by the footpaths are so narrow. I mean, they were only ever meant for people to walk, as you can see. Maybe walking or bringing a goat or something, or bringing goats along, or maybe, you know, bringing horses, but that's about it. There's like absolutely no chance they're ever going to be able to modernize this village and put proper roads here. So that's probably part of the reason they decided to move down and build a new village below. I mean, this village really is built into the mountain. I mean, you can see these old steps. I mean, this would have been a real, just going to visit your neighbor would have been a real exercise. But of course, it would have been hardy people living here, so I wouldn't have bothered them. Well, here's a nice one over here. That looks well preserved. Mustn't have taken too much damage during the earthquake. Pop in here for a cup of tea. Hello, I'm here. Oh, nobody home. It must have been a hard decision to leave, because the view from up here is amazing. As you can see the ocean, all the neighbouring villages. And surprisingly enough, it's quite cool up here. You know, I've been walking around, and you know, when you walk into the buildings, it's very cool. So they were obviously built in a spot where they'd remain cool in the hot summertime. Ooh, which way do we go now? That's a little road going along up there. More houses up there, but looks like it might be blocked with trees by now. Let's go down this way. And this, I presume, is some kind of a well. Because it looks like this is where they would have come and filled their water buckets or something from that. Now perhaps a stream. Perhaps there's a stream somewhere and they diverted the water in there and then used that to do their washing and cooking, I suppose. And we're onto a different street. Whoa. It's so incredibly peaceful up here as well. I mean, there's like a light breeze from the wind, but that's it. It must have been lovely to live up here. And again, we got these narrow streets. So how would you ever convert this into a road big enough for a car? You really wouldn't. Without enormous work. I mean, what would you do with that? Oh, and there's another house up there. Let's try over here. But look at that view. Imagine waking up in the morning and looking out there. So you can see those buildings down below with the red roofs. Those are, that's the new village. So they just set up a bit lower down and just left this entire village after the earthquake, and that's it. Everything is still here. All the footpaths, all the little tracks, buildings, steps, the goats. There were a lot more buildings further down there, but I just thought I would take a walk along here first and then get the rest on the way back. Oh, look at this. I mean, this must have been how traditional Greek villages were. Just rocks, rock steps, and massive walls, which I guess cast a shadow and kept people cool and things like that. Wow. I mean, you can really get a feel for how this was. I don't think exactly the same in the 1950s in Greece. Look at that. Wow, it's a well. And you can see the water at the bottom. Hello! Wow, it's massive. Let me get rid of those cobwebs. Okay. Whew. That's well, I don't know, is that a water supply for the village? It's huge though. Just drop a little stone in. That might be 2 or 3 meters. I see this rock over here. Maybe that's what you put on top to keep things out. Yeah, I bet that's what it is. Oh. I mean, that view. What a view. Look at that. So that's a luxury peninsula on the other side. That's the harbour over there where the ferry pulls in, and then that's all the little villages, and the main beaches are down the back, and then there's some along the top as well. Yeah, this is great. So let's see if we can get into this house. These walls are amazing, they're just perfect all these years later. Oh, no way, they've locked it. Not so abandoned. Just some wood in there from what I can see. Just some dry wood. Shall we go up into the higher parts of town? Tell you what, you don't need much. You need to visit a few of your neighbours to get some exercise around here. Okay, so there's a ladder and there's some wood. You've got to be very hardy to live in a village like this. Can you imagine if you're in your 70s or your 80s trying to walk around this village? I'm assuming some of these were houses that actually must have fallen down because there's a lot of structure here. More village paths. So maybe a little square where people relaxed under the tree in the shade. There's like a circular edge here. Of course, you would have had a great view from here. Could have saw everything in the town, sat under the tree. You could definitely sit here and relax after a long day of farming in the fields. Ooh. I don't know, I can keep going up, I guess. Let's see. Yeah. This might be the top edge of the village. I don't see anything much over there anymore. So let's start going back down again to the main town square. Kind of an old vessel for holding liquid of some kind. Oh, there's an old pair of boots. Some kind of fuel, maybe? Maybe one of the original windows. Old-fashioned shutters. So they would have folded in half here, and you could still peek out through the downward parts. Probably tomato can. The old door. Damn, high-tech security here. One lock, two locks, three locks, spring loaded. Three locks on the door, that's a lot. Maybe people were a little bit banditos. A wine barrel. Strut. Don't know what that is. So yeah, those are the all new houses over there. This one's remained remarkably intact. Oh, there we go. 19... is that 30 or 1980? Can't really see. Is that 30? Maybe. 1930 would make sense. Built in 1930. Earthquake was in 1953, so they had their house for 20 years before it got taken away. There are those old shutters from the outside. I'm assuming that's the original roof. Terracotta tiles. Yeah, I guess it has to be 1930. It looks like it. seat here for the amazing views. Well, let's get back down to the village. Yeah, I guess maybe people had these little areas outside their house where they just sit outside and maybe sit on a chair with the neighbours. Wow, so that is a big house, I would have to say. So at the back here we've got this little room with a small arch going in. I assume that was some kind of, well, I don't know, like a cool area to keep your food or your wine or whatever it was you had there. And you've got a larger room here, and then you've got this enormous house over here, or building. I mean, it's very big for a house. And wow, and you can really see how long it's been since anybody lived here, because this tree has diverted itself through the window and into the middle of the building. So I don't know how that happened, but that's amazing. It just diverted itself through a window and it's right in the middle of that house now. So this might have been like not just a house, but well, either somebody very important or rich, or maybe like a little town hall or something, because it's very big. And it's also got this entry, very nice entrance, which clearly had a gate on it at one point. And we come in here, and there's that tree that goes through the window. You can go all the way around the back. This is a smaller room. Wow, look how well preserved that is. I guess that's like a... you cook food, I guess. Well, this could be a restaurant. Could you imagine that? This could be a restaurant. That is probably an oven. And then here's that little room. So yeah, maybe that's a storage room. I've seen this before in another building. There's these little square units in the corner, and as far as I know, there's a space underneath that, so maybe that's another place for keeping food or flour or something. And here we go. Restaurant. Town hall. As you can see, a very big building for where we are. So we've got another one of these running water tanks, I guess. So water must pour out of there. So maybe, yeah, I don't know. I guess they divert water from the roof maybe into that. And then it would pour out here. And you really get a feeling for how people live, don't you? You know, you really get a feeling for how they lived. Very simple life. Just getting water in a sort of a rock pool, and yeah, just let it out when you need it. View from the front window. Look at that. What a view. Amazing. What a view. Ah, look. A well. Another well. Wow, another one. Look at that. Hooah! Hooah! Hoo! That's quite big too. Got a tiny stone here. No, that was bone dry. It looks like from here, the side is like an orangey brown, so it's just probably made from clay and just moulded. That's how you live in a small town. That's how you live in a small mountain village in Greece in the 1920s and 30s and 40s and 50s. Let's see what we got down here. Not the best way down. This looks like it's been rebuilt. Doesn't it just? It looks very fresh. I wonder what kind of an area this is. Maybe they have tours and people sit here and they talk to them. But this is a very new area. Yeah. Oh look, you can see the old, I don't know what that is. Concrete. I guess that would have been the yard. Let's go down further. I think there's another well over there. Yeah. So, old-fashioned padlock. So I guess a lot of people must have had their own well. I don't know. I mean, I've seen 3 now in the last 10 or 20 meters. And there was one of that house further back. Yeah. Nice steps. And I assume the original floor. So again, another one of these areas with the water outlet. It's hardly a bath, is it? Is it a bath? I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe it's a bath, maybe it's a cooking area, maybe it's where you clean your clothes. Wow, look at the views from your window. Hello, how are you today? Heading up to the restaurant? Great, I'll see you there. And of course there's some goats down there responding. Hey! There's nobody else up here, just me and the goats. Away they go. So this building is huge as well. That looks like it's 2 stories. Let's go and take a look. Wow. Those steps are lovely. Look at that. The amount of work that went into building a village like this is just incredible. And it's sad just to see it all abandoned and just left alone, forgotten, more or less. Apart from people like me coming for a look around. But what can you do? The road up here is tiny, it's just a single lane, and then there's on the edge of a cliff, so there's no way to widen it unless you dug into the mountain, so that would probably cost a small fortune. Yeah, you can see why they left this village. I mean, the potential to modernize it is really kind of non-existent. You know, with all these tiny paths, you just couldn't turn them all into regular flat paths that people use today, and the road is just not really viable. So here's another building. I'm assuming that's another little storage area or an oven maybe. Whoa! Get around this tree. Oh no! Oh, this is not a great place to be. Ouch. Alright then. This is fun. I guess. This is a 2-story house for sure. And I'm on the 2nd floor. So this is another large house. I don't know how common 2-story buildings were, but certainly looks nice. You can see the concrete block over there, and there would have been beams running across here to create the floor for the 1st floor. And how can I get down in the middle here? You can see the original wall, I guess that is. This is probably not a great idea. And again, we got one of those square units for storage or whatever it is. Oh, I kind of have to go back. Okay, don't go to the 1st floor first. Oh. Ouch. That's probably why they let that tree grow there, to stop idiots like me from trying to go in. Okay, here's our little oven, I guess. Around the interior, which I assume is heat proof, and therefore where they'd cook. Whoa. Okay, so there's your wall thickness. I suppose not all that thick for a house where there's potentially an area where there's potentially a lot of earthquakes. So this is where I was over there, first floor, very nice. And this is one of those square areas, which I guess was, like I said earlier, probably some kind of a pantry or food storage or something like that. Second floor with the 3 windows at the front for amazing views. Let's go around and go in the front door. Oop, if we can. It's very strange where some of these trees are growing. You kind of get the feeling maybe they deliberately planted a tree here to maybe stop people from entering or something. Because there's no way there was a tree there in the middle of that door before the earthquake, I have to imagine. Well, let's see if we can get through here. Oh boy. There we go. Whew. So, this is our storage pantry with a tiny window. That's our original first floor wall, I guess. Still in tremendously good condition. Again, a little storage. And as I was saying, these rocks are where the beams would go to create the floor. And looking at it, I mean, it's just there, so there was a very low ceiling on this bottom floor. So maybe this bottom floor is some kind of a storage, or maybe it's all, maybe bedrooms or something. Okay. So this building was built to last, although it did crack, but mainly it held its ground. Oh, the goats didn't make it. Oh, here we go, a couple of buildings here. Some kind of a sink. It's got a hole in the bottom to let water out, I guess. Yeah, I guess that's where it is. '19, 20s, 30s, 40s sink. Oh, well, there's more over here. Wow, that's amazing. Alright, got a few houses here. Wow, this one is quite fancy. Got oh no, the windows. Those are some kind of windows. Wow, you can see over there those 4 are windows. Gonna have to make my way over there now, I guess, even though they don't want me to go in with that tree blocking it. I don't know, are these the same thing? They're the same shape. They've got the little hole. Well, this has obviously been rebuilt for keeping goats in. Goat shed. So they're well here. Oh, very nice steps here. Very well maintained. Modern. Ooh, look at this. Nice little spot. Well, I mean, picturesque is the word. Exploring an abandoned city with glorious views. Don't mind if I do. Again, we've got an enormous house here. Some kind of a curved structure at the front. This is the place with a very nice step, so maybe this was a very rich person. Very grand. Yeah. Ooh. This is very fancy. Wow. I think this is all strong enough to hold me. Wow. A curved wall. You can see the cracks from the earthquake. Again, trees planted inside the building. Perhaps people died and they planted trees to remember them. So perhaps 4 people died in this building, or from this building. I don't know, but that's a possibility. Why else would you build trees in the middle of a building? Why else would you plant trees in the middle of a building? Why else would you plant trees in the middle of a building? Sure, what all these curves are about. This outside wall is curved as well. I guess that went all the way down there. I guess it went all the way around. So maybe over there is the same building. Let's explore. Let's take a look. The tree planted inside. I guess this was all part of the same building, I don't know. Another entrance. No, it's probably a separate house then from the curved one. You could spend all day here looking around, which I am doing. Be careful, some of these blocks are not held down, so some will move. That's a good wall though. Storage again, maybe? Going up, I guess. Oh, look at this. Wow, this is cool.